Hi, my name is Connie Johnson and I am a certified professional life coach. I am not qualified to, nor do I offer therapy or counseling services. You can find out more about me and my services on my website. It is linked on my YouTube channel homepage, or you can go to www.familyforwardlifecoaching.com. Any information on the Family Forward Life Coaching YouTube channel is intended for general guidance only and must never be considered a substitute for legal advice. It is not legal advice. I do not have a law degree. If you can afford a lawyer, it is always best to seek legal advice. So I would ask that you now pause the video with your mouse on the stop icon in YouTube and read the rest of this disclaimer, and then when you're done you can start the video with your space bar, and you can use your right arrow to move ahead in a video and your left arrow to rewind a video. I thought I'd just share that with you. First things first, the slide on the right is a screenshot of the homepage of the Steps to Justice website, Your Guide to Law in Ontario. This is a great website where you can start to educate yourself on what your first steps should be. If you scroll down on this homepage, you will see where you can click into family law. You have many decisions to make prior to deciding whether you want to use the court system. Even if you don't use the court system, all the other options follow this same legislation, and legislation is just another word for laws. It is always best to educate yourself on the out-of-court options first. This site is very interactive. Let's go over to this site and I'll show you how the out-of-court options work. So here we are at the Steps to Justice website, and if you scroll down, you'll see family law. And I've opened up all these tabs right now, and I'm just going to move in them, but you can right click with your mouse and say open a new tab. And the reason I like to do that is I like to have all of the windows open from sites that I use in case I want to go back and use any other options on the tabs. So here we are in family law, and now we want to go to out of court options, and you'll see that they have sections for birth and adoption, marriage and common law relationships, separation and divorce, child custody access and parenting, child support, spousal support, property and debts, married couples, property and debts, common law couples, child protection, partner abuse, restraining orders and peace bonds, going to family court, and getting legal help in family law. So you can just right click and open up these tabs, and what it does is it has here we are in the out of court options. If you scroll down on each time you do that, in those sections you're going to find questions here that are answered. And for this video I'm just showing you how, what if my partner and I agree on what to do after we separated or divorced. So if you clicked on that or right clicked and opened it up so that you could still have that page open, you'll see that they talk about if you and your partner agree on your family law issues, you can put what you've agreed on in a separation agreement. And one of the nice things about this site is anything that you see that has highlighted words, you can right click and you'll get the definition for any of the words. This is a written contract that you and your partner make, and then it goes on to explain what it is. And the wonderful thing is, if you scroll all the way down here, is you can discuss what legal issues you can agree on. You can go to the next step. And so when you discuss what legal issues you can agree on, that gives you some advice on discussing with your former partner what issues you can agree on. And then you would go to the next step, which is make a separation agreement. And if we go into here, you'll see it's make a separation agreement. Explains quite a bit more again, and it is so useful because you can share this information with your former partner as well. And the wonderful thing is they have a sample separation agreement, and I'll just go in and show you what that is. It's 38 pages, and if you scroll through, it basically has all of the paragraphs that you can use for a separation agreement. You could convert this into a Word document and cut some of the paragraphs out that don't apply to your family. And of course, you'll have to fill in some of the information. But this document is really valuable in the sense that it basically follows the legislation. So you can even use some of the wording from this in some of your documents if you like. So that will make more sense once you do educate yourself. But this is a fantastic resource to have, this separation agreement. And if you and your spouse are in a position where you know that you can work together to come to an agreement without using the courts, this is a great option, and it even shows you how you can file it in the courts. Okay, so I hope this helps. The sample separation agreement you looked at on this site will help you as it relates to the wording in your documents. Even if you don't believe your former partner will agree to a separation, it will help you. This is a great document to have. Another great resource for Ontario residents is the screenshot on the right, which is a snippet from the Community Legal Education Ontario website, also known as CLEO, where you will find more information. There are several guides on this page. Let's go and look at them, and I'll show you the guide, An Introduction to Family Law in Ontario. So here we are at the Steps to Justice page, and we're in the resource and publications, and you'll see that there are several guides that are here. And the one that I want to show you, if you right click and open in the new tab, it will take you into an online version of this guide, and you can basically click in and it will expand each one of these. And there's also a PDF version that you can click into, and an HTML file, and you can view the entire document by clicking into here. Now I did open that up, and it's a 24-page guide, and if you just look at the index, it has who is this booklet for, what family law is about, what are the most common family law issues, living together, marriage and divorce, domestic contracts, what you need to do when separating or divorcing, finding a lawyer, getting more information, if I cannot afford a lawyer, and other information and resources. So a great little guide. Save websites as bookmarks. Use your Control-D keys and on a PC and your Command and D keys on an Apple. Once you've read through all of the out-of-court options and you've determined that they will not work for your family's issues, you will need to start preparing the first document to start a court action. If you look at the screenshot on the right, you will see a link to steps in a family law case. Let's go look at that. We are going to see a flow chart, and we'll go to the section, which court do you go to show you how valuable this flow chart is. Okay, so here we are at the Steps to Justice, the page Resources and Publications that we were on before, and right here is the Steps in a Family Law Case step. And if you click on the linked words right here, it will take you into this flow chart. And depending on what you're going to do, you will click into each one of these and it will take you step by step through what you need to do. So for this video, we're going to say, which court do you go to? If you click on that, it's going to take you into here, and you'll see that it tells you that there are 3 different courts in Ontario: the Family Court branch of the Superior Court of Justice, the Superior Court of Justice, and the Ontario Court of Justice. And you'll see down here they have expandable information on each one of those courts. So I suggest that you go through and read those. Then it talks about that it's important that you go to the right court. Rule 5, where a case starts and is to be heard, will take you right into the rules of court. And we'll just go here, and here are the rules of court here. Now make sure that this is a current copy, because sometimes the links are broken, and I feel like this might be an older version given the date that's right here. So make sure that the consolidation period is up to date. I feel like this link is not the right one, but I'm just going to show you how to scroll down and find that rule. Let's just go back there for a minute. And this is why I like to keep tabs open. It's Rule 5 we're looking for. So let's just go back here and we'll scroll down and you'll see here Rule 1 is general. That's where you want to look. You might get confused because these are all numbered. And if you went down to 5, which is right here, that would not be the correct file. So you want to actually find Rule 5 in caps like this. So let's just go down. You can actually use your page down key as well if you like, or roll on your wheel of your mouse, whatever works for you. There's Rule 3, 4, and here is 5, where a case starts and is to be heard. So you're going to want to read all of Rule 5. Obviously that goes all the way down here to Rule 6. Okay, so make sure that you read all of those rules before you start a case. And sometimes it's a good idea to print off that rule, and you can highlight with your mouse this whole rule, and then you can Control P to print and then say selected section for printing in the custom area. It depends what your printer is, so I don't know what your options would be, but you can print parts of a document. Okay? More guides for Ontario residents. The screenshot to the right is a snippet from the CLEO page we went to in the previous slide. There are several guides that will help you educate yourself on each of your family's issues. There is a guide that deals with specific topics such as property division, child custody access and parenting plans, child support, and spousal support. The federal government has a parenting plan tool that will help you and your former partner create a plan that will alleviate stress in the future. If you make decisions before they happen, it may save conflict in the future. Let's go look at the federal parenting plan tool. So this is on the Department of Justice, the federal government's website, and it is linked in the video description, and it's a parenting plan tool. And what you can do is you can fill in your names and your children's names and your email address, and basically you can expand all of these. There's a whole bunch of paragraphs under each one of these sections that will help you to determine what you would like to decide with your former partner, so you can propose something to them. Now, I wouldn't go through and pick exactly what you want without letting them see all of the options that are available. And what you could do is send them the link and ask them to pick the things that they like and send it to you, and then just compare the two documents and have some discussions about that. So you would go through and, like I say, you would read all of the text and responsibilities to your children. We are both responsible for and will contribute to the care and upbringing of our children. We agree that we will make decisions that are in the best interest of our children, and will put their interests ahead of our own. And so just read through all of them and click in. Some of them you can only choose one, but some of them you can choose all of them. So, and what you could do is you could just go through, choose all of them, and send it to your partner and ask them if they have any problem signing a parenting plan or agreeing to a parenting plan like this. And as you get further into the document, you'll see that there are some things about travel in the future that if you and your former partner are having arguments about something, they may not be so agreeable at that time. So just getting someone to agree to things before they happen instead of making it a fight will make such a big difference. So I hope that this tool does help you. It's a fantastic tool. Great resources for court documents. Both the Ontario Court of Justice and the Superior Court of Justice have family law information on their sites. I have linked several of their resources in the description for this video. If you click on Show More below this video, you will see all of the links. If the links are broken, Google search the court name and click into their family law sections, where you will find the linked information. The resources on both courts' web pages is super useful. The screenshot on the right is of the Superior Court of Justice's page. You will note that there are links, the words in red under Family Proceedings, that will take you to several useful resources. The guide to process is linked on this page and is super useful. When you print information from resources, ensure that you make a note of where you got it from, the resource, website name, or book or guide name. This will prove helpful if you meet with a lawyer to determine where you got your information from. Guide to process for Superior Court of Justice. The screenshot on the right is a snippet from the link to the guide to process. I just told you about this link in the previous slide. If you know that you and your former partner will have to use the courts, you cannot come to an agreement, then the Starting Your Case is a good place to start. Let's go look at this site as well as the CLEO website, where they also have a page titled You Start a Family Court Case. Let's go and look at these two resources. So here we are at the Superior Court of Justice's page, and you'll see here that the letters in red are interactive, so you can click in and find information, and they're wonderful because you can get legislation and forms, family court services, other resources. And what we're going to look at is the guide to process, which is right here. And I already opened it up before. And Starting Your Case, and that is right here. And it tells you what the first step is, and it takes you to information about the form that you would use, and it's super useful. And it also gives you steps on what you must do to file that document. The other useful thing for filing your documents is the steps, the CLEO steps in a family law case page. You start a family court case. And again, this leads you to the family law rules and Rule 8, starting a case. And if you go into that tab, you'll see, and I showed you how to scroll down on the rules in the previous slide, so you should know how to get to Rule 8, starting a case, and then make sure that you read all of Rule 8, which goes right down, of course, to, and also read any sub numbers, like 8.1 is the mandatory information program, and that is a program that is mandatory to take. And I actually think that it's a good idea to take it whether you're going to use the courts or not, because it talks a lot about your children and how the divorce and or separation affects them. So you might want to look at that. So continuing record, right to Rule 9, that's what you want to read for doing this step. And each step has rules and procedures that you need to find and follow. And if you use the Steps to Justice CLEO site and the guides, you should have no problem. Okay? Finally, Family Law Guided Pathways, a new online tool helping people fill out court forms, is another great link that will help you to complete your forms. This is linked in the video description. Let's go and look at this page. So here we are back at CLEO in the Family Law Guided Pathway, a new online tool helping people fill out family court forms. So you'll want to click into there and read all about it, and it talks about forms that can be completed using the guided pathways for children's support and property issues and separation and divorce. And then it has the forms here. Simple or joint divorce form, filing your agreement with the court, and that would be if you did the separation agreement that we talked about. Answering a family law case, replying to your partner's answer, case conference. So basically if you're taking a step, look at this page and see if there's a guided pathway option for you. Okay, and then while we're here, I just wanted to show you the Ontario Court of Justice Family Court section. It has a lot of useful information as well. There's the levels of court that we talked about in a previous slide. So if you are going to be using the Ontario Court of Justice, you're going to want to use these resources and not the other court's resources. So there is a guide for self-represented litigants in family court trials, what to expect in family court, and definitions. And we're going to look at each one of those. So this is the Representing Yourself at Your Family Law Trial, a guide. And again, you can get into a PDF version. And it's a good idea to read some of the stuff that's down here. It talks about family law legislation, the laws that apply. And you can either Google these, or if they're, you can go into here and you'll find them. They're in an alphabetical order, and you'll want to find the Family Law Act, the Children's Law Reform Act, and the Child Support Guidelines. And I have a resource video, and if you look up on the right hand side, you'll see a card that will take you to that, and that'll help you find the Child Support Guidelines as well. So the PDF version of the guide is here. I opened it up already before. And if you go into this document, it is basically a guide for representing yourself at your family law trial in the Ontario Court of Justice. So it has a lot of great information and will be very useful for you. And then we have what to expect in a family court guide, which is wonderful. It tells you what to wear, manners, taking notes, important to remember, be on time, and it talks about legal advice. And then the definitions of words commonly used in family law cases, that's super useful as well, and it's all in alphabetical order. So if you find a word that you're not understanding, it could potentially be here. There are other sources as well for commonly used words in family law files. So I hope that this helps you. Court forms. The Steps to Justice website has a subsection under the family law section called Questions About Going to Family Court. This is where you will find information as it relates to which court you should go to, where you can find the rules of court. And the guides that we just talked about previously will help you with that as well. This is just another option. If you haven't found your answers to your questions, this is another source. The screenshot on the right is a snippet from this section, and if you need more guidance after using the previously suggested resources, click into the box that is yellow and says Next Step. Once you click into here, you will see several links at the bottom which will help you, including standard clauses for family orders. If you use sample forms to prepare a document, ensure that you print off a copy of each form you use and make notes on where you researched and obtained the information for each section. Being organized will save you a lot of time, stress, and money if you hire a lawyer on an unbundled basis. Watch my video on my YouTube channel called Using Guides and Resources to Make a Divorce List of Issues. If you are filled with emotions that you are finding hard to control, contact your counselor or therapist to arrange for some sessions. Online sessions may be available. If you are in the right frame of mind, start educating yourself on the legislation, rules of court, and procedures that are relevant to your family's issues. Save all websites as bookmarks using your Control and D keys on a PC and Command and D keys on an Apple. If you are on a computer that is shared with others and cannot save bookmarks of the sites you use, come back to my videos as I have shared links in the video description. If the links break, then Google the name of the resource. Always ensure that you are using an up-to-date resource. Sometimes they change to older versions and PDFs are still afloat. And just like the links to the rules that we just looked at, I do believe that the link on that site, on the court site, is to an older version. I may be wrong on that, but I would say that you should go to the alphabetical listing that I talked about in the previous slide and get the rules from there. Or pardon me, I'm thinking of legislation. The rules should be on the court's website, so those would be up to date. Go to the National Self-Represented Litigants Project website and under the SRL Resources tab, find and read the guides titled Mindfulness Training, CanLII Primer, Reading a Case Primer, and What You Need to Know About Affidavits. All the guides on this site are fantastic tools that will aid you in proceeding through your family law issues as a self-represented litigant. Before you prepare any documents, read the linked Canadian case regarding hearsay, opinion, and argument not acceptable as evidence. This is linked in the video description. It's A.J.F versus N.L.S, and you'll see it says Canadian case before that. If you have a friend or a family member who you know advocates for conflict-free resolutions, ask them to read through your emails to your former partner prior to sending them. And also ask if they are willing to proofread your documents for you to ensure that they are not filled with hearsay, opinion, and argument. If using a lawyer, this could save you a lot of money. If you think your former partner is abusive, there is a video card on the top of the screen right now, on the top right, that will lead you to resources that will help you determine if your partner is abusive, and they will lead you to resources and entities that could help you. If you're interested in using a life coach, check out my website at www.familyforwardlifecoaching.com, where you will find information about me and my services. And if you look to the bottom right now, you should see a gray icon. If you click on that, you'll be able to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you subscribe, there should be an icon that looks like a bell. If you click on that, you will be advised every time that I upload a video. So I hope that my video has helped you, and good luck and have a great day.